All right, Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 253, Gatekeepers. Let's go back in history and take a look at the publishing industry as it was. When you applied, they never really had an open call, but your agent pitched a book and you'd get feedback possibly about that book. And then if you got a contract, it was to write a book within some narrow confines. Why is that? It's because the traditional publishing houses and their imprints have refined their audience. They know exactly what their readers expect and what they like. So they were funneling books into that target audience. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? How do you write for a target audience? Write to market, right? So this is what the original gatekeepers were doing, was to make sure that those books that they accepted, paid advances on, brought into the fold, fed the audience that they had with the frequency that they wanted. So that's why some contracts were limited to 1 a year. Maybe the elite got 2 a year, maybe 4, but nothing more than that. There's the frequency they want them, and let's set up the books. That's also why a year, 2 years out is what the contracts went for. Yeah, right. Internet's acting up. We'll do it this way. All right. 1 year, 2 years out. And then they would set up and schedule them out, and they could schedule their editors and all of that. And that's why the timeline was so extended. Also, they wanted that final book and get it through their processes so they could send out those paperback copies, hardback copies to their ARC, their advanced reader copy readers in bulk. So by the time it launched, there's 1,000 reviews already on the book. That's TradPub. That's how they did it, because that was part of their readership that looks just like all of their other readers saying, hey, this is a book you should read. And there you go. Bob's your uncle. The book takes off, and you get a contract for another book next year. Well, that was the gate through which your book had to pass. Some people say that, well, you don't write well enough to get a traditional contract. No, you don't write narrowly enough into this exact target audience to get a contract. Some people were able, once you gotten a few contracts, then maybe you can expand, because now that readership is following you in particular. When you become your own brand, then, hey, the sky is the limit. You can write, you can expand, you can explore different topics and themes, and still the trad house might turn you down if it seems too wild for their readership. If they don't think they'll like it. But understand, this is what it is, and this is the fallacy of don't write well enough to get a trad contract. No, you just don't write narrow enough for their target audience. That's all it is. It had nothing to do with the quality of your work. And yes, we know there are bad books out there, and it's okay. Bad books don't sell. Even with trad houses, there's a lot of bad books and bad being negative. If they expect to sell 1 million copies and only sell 100,000, well, that's a bad book, because it's certain investments need to be recouped. As an indie author, if you have $5,000 in a book when you publish, that's your payback. So if you're a trad house, that's all you need to make. And then above that is gravy. So it's a completely different financial dynamic. And that's successful indie authors. We have carefully built our audiences. So if we spend $5,000, which is a big number, unless you're doing a translation. I've got $8,000 into some of my books, but that's because translated into German, in addition to top-end covers and good editing, quality, multiple proofread, all that good stuff, and it adds up. Okay, no problem. But hey, so my payback is a little higher on these, but I've carefully cultivated audience over 6 years now, and I have this readership, so I understand that, hey, at $5,000 a book, I'm going to get that back on a book. Just how much more? And because my time is worth it. Not my time isn't worth just getting my money back. It's make a profit so I can invest moving forward. This is the gate. I am my own gatekeeper, trying to write stuff that my audience will like without getting too crazy and just saying, hey, I'm going to write something completely out there and throw it out there. I've done that. And you know what I found? My readers won't read it. They might look at it and say, hell, this is out of here. because Kindle Unlimited, they can look at it and say, no, I don't like it, and pitch it. And I've had books that failed spectacularly because I thought in my audience, and hey, they'll read anything. No, they won't. And this is Tradhouse learned that a long time ago. That's why they didn't accept manuscripts that didn't fit that narrow audience. So keep in mind, you're writing to market to your audience. You are the new gatekeeper. We are the new gatekeepers. Write for your audience, and you'll see that success. All right. Peace, fellow humans.